Hey! Double tap tonight. Double tap. What's happening, everybody? Welcome, as always, to another wonderful edition of the Double BS Podcast.
Did you call it a broadcast?
I did call it a broadcast. The Double BS Podcast, in my most professional sounding voice. Of course, I'm corrected, as always, by my brother, Matty. I am Shmoo, and we are, again, tonight. She is here, making sure we don't sound like total idiots. Our wonderful producer, Manager Maggie. So awesome to have her back.
That's an impossible task.
I know, especially with me. So as always, we're excited tonight. We are going to talk tonight. We were kind of hemming and hawing a little bit. We had a plan tonight, and things changed a little bit. That happens in life, and so we've decided that with Thanksgiving just kind of getting over, and now we're coming into Christmas, and of course New Year's. You got Hanukkah in there. You got Kwanzaa. You got all Festivus.
Wow.
You got all of those holidays in there.
Did you just mention Festivus?
Festivus.
Festivus for the rest of us.
That's right.
Do you get the pole out of the crawl space?
You might have to. So we're gonna have a tradition, and not just the winter holidays.
No,
we're gonna talk 4th of July.
Year long.
Yeah, all year. We're gonna just kind of do a highlight of
Easter,
all
4th of July.
Oh yeah,
whatever you got.
good stuff. So as always in the beginning, we love to introduce Matt, and I'm very proud of Matty here. His taste buds have grown over the last month and a half of doing this. I'm excited tonight. He will be trying a wonderful beer that is not a fruit-based beer. It's got a little bit of fruit in it. It's got the Valencia orange peel in it.
It's a citrus kind of thing.
Yeah. But this is from Lakeside Brewery, of course, or Lake Time Brewery. Sorry, Lake Time Brewery. They're in Clear Lake, Iowa. Of course, we've had their beers before. I've had their beers before. This is their Sandy Bottoms American Wheat. So, Matty, of course, loves the Coors Lights. Miller Coors, hit us up. And so that'd be a Pilsner. Your next, kind of your close cousin, that would be, of course, be your wheat. So Matty's going to enjoy that. I'm also going to be drinking some Lake Time Brewery beers. I'm doing the Quinton Quarantino.
Do I get the taste?
Double IPA. And Matty's going to try the Sandy Bottom American Wheat. My favorite wheat toast.
Do I get to go? Oh, yes. We have a toast.
I'm trying one.
To holidays.
Cheers to holidays.
Holidays traditions. That is weedy.
Ooh.
That is nice.
Ooh, it's a double dry hop. I was like, this is tasty. Like, there it is in the corner there.
I'm a fan of it. Where'd you get this?
So that's...
I get this from Clear Lake.
I got it Hy-Vee.
This is at Hy-Vee?
I got it Hy-Vee. $10 a six-pack.
I
Well, that's the downside of it.
get that. I got you.
You're lucky. I always pick this
But-
up. You get to enjoy it.
This, I would buy this.
I'm also excited. I will be having one other tonight.
I like this.
And another repeat. So if you remember last week, you did that. I think it was the Lily, that raspberry orange one. That was from Burr Oak Brewery.
Right.
That's where this Big Tree Double IPA is. This is also from Burr Oak. So down in, I believe that was Columbia, Missouri. So cheers to that.
I'm a fan of Missouri.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the giant lake they have in the middle.
I'm sure you are. We were just talking about
That's part of the traditions that we're going to talk about. That is a summer tradition.
Yeah.
Not really a holiday, but to me, it's a holiday because it's.
Well, yeah. Holiday.
It's a week of vacation. That is my holiday.
Yes.
That is what I look forward to all year long. As much as I love my children, as much as I love my family, I think to take a week and just go somewhere
not around
to enjoy my family, enjoy my children, and watch them do things as I like to do.
So we've got a lot of holidays to pick from.
I think we should start with not the big ones.
Well, what do you want to start with? I'm going to let you pick.
What do you want to start with? You want to go at the beginning of the year? Start with New Year's? Do you ever have a New Year's...
So, I mean, obviously when a
New Year's Day, New Year's Eve type of tradition? Because I did for years.
Now, no.
No,
I'm
as a
4
kid.
years old.
As a kid.
If I make it past 10 o'clock on New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
I'm doing it right.
No, my New Year's tradition is now is if I'm not in bed because I have to work in the morning, I'm either in bed because I'm tired, or I just don't care. As a kid, did you ever? I mean, with your family,
we did
before you had kids, before you got to be more of an adult than we were back then.
Yeah. So obviously, we were growing up as younger kids. It was the staying up till midnight. Watching the what was it, Dick Clark from
Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve.
That's
party.
right. From Times Square. So you would watch that. And then, of course, when you're watching that, it was almost like, as we got a little bit older, it was of course, when you're watching that on the East Coast, so then that one drops. But then it's okay, well, now the East Coast, now then the next one. So then Central was like the next one. So when you were staying up till midnight Central time, you were actually watching that ball drop at 11.
Right.
And then you would stay up till midnight, and it was always weird because it would just be the same
I never watched that one.
video. They're like, like it never happened.
Up until that point, I never watched that when I was a kid. Like, my parents, and we would always have family over, and I can tell you the biggest remembrance I have of those was my mother making her, like, holiday New Year's Eve drinks, which was you had the pink squirrel or the green grasshopper, which we got to try. I don't even remember what is all in those. Good Lord.
Grasshopper's minty something.
It's mint something. The pink squirrel, I can't even remember that. But I mean, that was the biggest thing. From my grandmother's house, because we would go down, and when I was a really young kid, we would be at my grandmother's house, at my mom's house, having those. And then later on, we were a little bit older, and she had passed. We were at my mom's house, or my parents' house, and we were doing that. But the biggest remembrance was like, we didn't even care about the ball. We didn't care about midnight, or whatever was on. That all the family was there. We were having fun. We were laughing, playing jokes or whatnot, but those pink squirrels, those green grasshoppers, and she still makes those.
Your mom does?
At some point in time, I think you go over there, and I don't go over there because, like I said, if I'm not working,
well, I'm just
by 10 o'clock at night, I'm in bed.
I'm thinking this just might be a new tradition, like maybe, just, hey, we're going to pick a day and we're going to go to your mom's house and drink some grasshoppers.
Well, I said Thursday night is New Year's Eve, and I get off at 7. You want to meet at my parents' house? I'm sure they'll make us some.
We could
pink squirrel. I'll let her know. Well, pink squirrels and
I think that could be fun.
Pink squirrels and
green grass.
Green grasshoppers.
Well, is it green grass or is it just grass? It's grasshopper. I think
it's
just a grasshopper.
Okay, pink squirrels and grasshoppers. Okay.
I remember. So, side story. I remember grasshoppers. I never heard of them, and this will tie Maggie into it because she's going to understand what I'm about to say. I had never heard of a grasshopper until I was 14 years old, and I had my first job, and I worked at a little place here in town.
Are you talking about a drink or the actual animal?
No, the drink.
Okay.
A little place in town called McKinley Street Tavern, and
right.
that was their drink. It was back in the day. That was a popular drink they made. So.
See, that was amazing to me when I was a kid. I never knew people made those outside of my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought this was something they made up.
It's an old
because
drink.
It wasn't like you poured this in there and you poured this in there. It was like they mixed it all together. And I was like, what?
It's like punch.
And what is that?
It's like a slushy.
And it was like, that was fun for me.
And I think that's more of like an older drink. You don't go to the bars a lot. Like when I was younger, I remember going places.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get many people drinking that.
And like when I was 14, I would hear people ordering those. And
Really?
Yeah. I'm telling you, when I would go to work, and I'd be, walking to the bar and checking with the waitresses and taking trash out, you would hear people, there they are, grasshopper.
On nights other than New Year's Eve.
Yeah, like during the week.
God,
like,
really?
That was drinks. But it was typically older people.
Right.
So I think that's maybe like a generational drink, like where I think now...
Now I'm going to have to go home and ask my mom, where'd you come up with this crap?
Yeah. Back then, people weren't drinking craft beer, they were drinking grasshoppers.
Right. Well, this is the same thing. The first time when I was able to go to a bar and drink, when I was married and I went with my ex-mother-in-law now to the bar, and she ordered tequila rose, and I looked at it, I said, what is that pink, whitish garbage you have in that shot glass?
And it still is.
And no, I don't think I've ever tasted it, but I looked at it and I said, what is that crap? It looks like,
it's crap.
Glitter and glue all in one glass.
It's not good.
And
It's not good.
No, I don't believe I've ever had it. Of course, they came out with crap like rum chata, which people say rum chata's great. I look at it and go, that looks like
it's okay.
Gold glitter and glue in a glass.
It's okay.
I've tasted it. It's not bad. It's got to be cold and it's got to have something else in it. If you drink it warm, if you drink it warm, chuck it in the garbage.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm not drinking that. They're like, it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't drink warm Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so don't feed me that crap in a shot glass.
You don't put warm milk in your cereal.
No, get that crap out of my face.
And I think another one, and then we'll go to our next holiday, but it makes me think. So when you're talking about grasshoppers and like different drinks back then, I mean, you will remember this. My children will never, other than maybe us saying it, if I said to you to tell me the other name of this drink, you probably can't. If I said a kitty cocktail, you would say,
I wouldn't know.
Shirley Temple.
Never had one.
Well, then clearly you're not as well versed as I thought.
Sheltered as you.
I guess. So a kitty cocktail, of course, is like Sprite, 7-Up, and then a little bit of grenadine, or rice. So it looks like a cocktail. They make it a little strong. Back in the day, they called it a Shirley Temple. Of course, it's Shirley Temple.
Right. I know who she is.
Star that she was back then, but I don't think our kids are going to know who the heck that is anymore. So yeah.
No.
So that's news. Like I said, we didn't.
Most of my, all of my children would never they would know who John McClane is, and would make me want to choke slam them when I tell them who it is, and they don't know who it is. It's like, I have failed you as a father if you don't know who John McClane is.
You got to get that. You got to get that going.
But it's a different generation.
I know.
Like I could show them the movie, that doesn't mean they're going to be watching it.
I know.
Okay, because I'll take that crap away. If I taped their eyes open and made them watch the television, it doesn't mean they'd actually watch the movie.
This is true.
I have a 14-year-old son who would watch the movie because he would love it.
Oh, yeah.
He's to that age now. The other two would be like this. Oh, my God. Can we have something else to do?
See, and I think I haven't tried with my girl yet, but, I mean, they probably would. They watch some crazy stuff from me. They really do. They're weird like that.
But at the same time, would they have the memory that you have? Like the first time I watched Die Hard.
Here's my thing.
I remembered that movie.
You were at the house. A month or so ago. And
You gonna go Never Ending Story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Still.
Yeah.
We went to my parents' house Tuesday to drop them off. And they went off to the living room and came back with my dad's DVD copy of it. Like, Daddy, look, they got it. And they were going to watch it. So, yeah, they retained that. So
That's great.
Those movies. I love it.
Well,
I love it.
That's a difference. Them to Never Ending Story to children to Die Hard. I mean, trust me.
I think I got to try it.
I believe, and I don't believe my kids have ever seen the Never Ending Story. I think they would love it.
You're not.
I would love. I mean, if they love it, because I love Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story was one thing that I grew up on, and I absolutely loved it.
So good.
Die Hard is something that I grew up on, and I absolutely loved it, and I still love it to this day. Watch it every Christmas.
Absolutely. My sister
I have to. It's a Christmas movie.
My sister
no matter what
really
anybody
cool.
says.
It's a picture of John McClane, like when he's in the
duct, in the air duct, with a lighter.
But then she took a little box, like a little piece of paper, and made like a little box and wrapped it in tinfoil around it. So then you hang it on my Christmas tree. Oh, I have that Christmas ornament, handmade for my sister. So yeah. So
Miss Becky, if you're listening, 28. I'm not going to tell you my address. Go ahead and ask your brother and send it to me.
Yeah, we'll get you one.
Because I would love one of those. Yeah. That is my third, tied for second favorite Christmas movie ever.
You really thought about it.
It's hard.
So that's New Year's. I feel like your family was way more fun on New Year's than mine. We just kind of.
I don't think we were. We really didn't do much. That's all I remember is those two drinks.
So what's next? So I mean, does Valentine's Day count?
Well, we didn't do anything. My parents, they actually went out and bought us stuff.
Yeah.
As kids, yeah. They would buy you. The heart. It was almost like an Easter basket, but it was a Valentine's Day basket.
The chalk hearts.
Right.
Hey, eat some chalk.
Yeah.
Chalk.
You got chalk hearts. You got.
Well,
candies.
it says words on it, so
you got candies and whatnot, but that was never a big.
We had it in school. Elementary school, you had the parties where you got the little hokey Valentine's cards. And
when you had to make the boxes, and I still have to make them, and I have to save shoe boxes every year.
Yeah.
Because I have to make.
Well, like a corporate holiday, more or less.
I have to make my kids boxes every year, and it's a lot more
Elaborate?
Yes, that's a beautiful word. Elaborate for what we do. Because they have to be in a character or whatever. Like, we were there. You just literally had to cut a slot into something and wrap it in something.
We did that last year with my girls.
And decorate it.
We did it at the school.
I've watched people... I had an ex-girlfriend. I mean, this was a giant box.
No, not doing that.
That was an actual character from a movie that they spent probably 2-3 days on. And I'm like, that's very over the top, because when are you ever going to use this?
And I've never been able to figure out how you get to...
And I'm not taking anything away from that. If you want to do that, that's great.
Do your thing. But here's what, how do you get to, well, I'm going to give you chocolates, I'm going to give you a card, and I'm going to buy you stuff, and lovey-dovey. And this is coming from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I've never understood that. That's what the hell does this happen?
I've never understood the entire
Corporate
holiday. Because
Corporate
the entire holiday is not for...
Well, then you know what? We're going to go to the next one.
I've never...
Probably one of my...
It's not for men, in period.
That's right. So if you
not that I disagree with it, if that's what makes you feel special.
So if we break the year up into quarters, so 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, probably my favorite holiday of the first quarter of the year.
St. Patrick's Day. It is a fun holiday. I've never really had a tradition for it. Never really
I don't either, but it's just a fun, my tradition anymore is almost to like nowadays, social media, hey, let's see how stupid people get. How much are you going to torture yourself? My tradition is almost like the next day, getting a hold of people like, hey, I know they went out last night. Hey, you want to go out for a beer?
One thing that I've never done, I guess, because St. Patrick's Day was never a thing for me. I never, even when I was able to and could, never went out on St. Patrick's Day like it was like, my God, it's St. Patrick's Day, we got to go do this. I'm like this.
Yeah.
Whatever. I do, however, would love to go to Chicago. You know, when they color the river green.
Oh, yeah.
And have green beer.
Absolutely.
I've gone to Burger King when they've had green ketchup. I've taken their hamburger and thrown it back across the counter so you can take that crap back. I don't know what that is. I don't care if it tastes like ketchup, looks like ketchup. It ain't ketchup.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just green. I'm like this. No, that's not what it is.
No.
So, but I've always wanted to go to Chicago. Have their green beer. Spend a weekend in Chicago on St. Patrick's Day because it's a big thing there.
Yeah. I did a Bulls game around St. Patty's Day. Bulls Caps with a buddy of mine. I actually still have the shirt.
When was that?
Oh, this was years ago. Years and years and years ago.
Like before?
Like before what?
King Baby?
That was when LeBron was in Cleveland the first time.
Okay.
So I went out, and they still had Joakim Noah.
I like Joakim. Did they have Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose was out. Joakim Noah was out that game.
I like Derrick Rose.
I literally watched, and here's the thing, and then I've got one other St. Patty's Day one, but I literally watched, if LeBron James doesn't put up at least 30 35 points in a game, I'm not impressed. I love LeBron, but if he doesn't put up 30 35 points, I'm telling you right now, I watched this dude just screw around for a whole game and just put up 40 points. It was ridiculous. But I think my favorite St. Patty's Day memory, which, I mean, ultimately has really nothing to do with the holiday, it's the same date. That was actually the day that I was in a tattoo chair here in town, and I was getting my one piece work done, and I was like, man, I'm in pain. I need a break. I don't want to sound like a wuss. Well, then my phone rang. I'm like, oh, who is it? And it was Kathy, who I hadn't talked to.
I was to say this before.
Yeah.
The courtship.
We had been together for a little bit.
Oh.
We broke up, and we kind of hung out a little bit, and then she was with this other guy for a year. And then
this was a longer courtship.
There was a situation there where she was reaching out to me as a friend, and then I realized that I was like, hey, and 2 weeks later we're back together.
Because that's always goes. I'm reaching out to you as a friend.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah.
I got the ring on right now.
Hey, he's being a dick. I want some dick. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter.
Yeah. How you doing?
And Peter's like this. Hell yeah.
Worked for me.
And hey. It worked out for me too because I love you to death. I love that woman to death. I love you to death. And hey, whoever the other guy is, if you are listening, I apologize for your heartbreak and heartache.
He's an idiot.
12 years ago.
He's an idiot.
All right, you're an idiot.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
I don't think that. I don't know.
That was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. All right, then. Well, thanks. Well, thank you, idiot, for being a dick.
I'll toast
and
that.
allowing Peter
I'll toast
to
that all day. But that was
give his. All right, we'll move on.
yeah. Which then leads us to
I'll leave that to go to Easter.
yeah, oh absolutely.
But I think we're going to go. I mean, this is going to be a short quarter. We're going to go quarters of the year.
That was
Easter.
Easter was
Easter. You're going to be the beginning. I didn't. Memorial Day. I didn't really do much for.
oh this one Easter. Why are you skipping Easter?
Okay.
We're talking about
Okay.
Easter.
So I'm going to go about Easter. You.
I like Easter.
Okay. I like Easter. Did you have any traditions on Easter?
It was always church.
Right.
Church.
Sunday morning.
And that's still kind of a thing. We don't do the church like Kathy's not really into the church thing.
Right.
But we usually go with the family. Obviously we didn't go this year. With everything going on, but it was always a tradition.
I would love to have a traditional work schedule where I can go to church every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, even when I'm off, I still don't go to church because I'm catching up on whatever sleep I can get because it's not fun and it's not an excuse. I'm tired.
We're just not going this year because of the Rome.
Right. That didn't help at all either. Easter and Christmas, of course, the two big holidays where everybody goes to church.
Yep.
I would love to go every Sunday because I love going to church. I love the atmosphere and I love everything about it. But just when you work the schedule that I work, Sundays they're like, well, you could go to church. I could. And my kids don't like to get up. I don't like to get up, and I'm freaking tired.
Yeah, and I remember when I worked for a church when I was out in Central Iowa working for a church. I remember that Easter because you have like the sunrise service,
right?
And then you had a couple others. So you had you kind of had special services. So again, when I was working there, I was 21. So I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, 3 o'clock in the morning to be at church, But I mean, it was kind of cool to see that side of it. But the big tradition we've always had in my family on Easter is a big meal. There's always that big meal.
Oh yeah.
And just this last
any type of holiday like that.
Oh yeah.
Your family was the same as mine. Diane and Ron would always do the same.
Well, and like this, a couple years ago, it changed. So now, Easter is now done at our house. Like my wife does the majority of the prepping. So my mom has relinquished Easter.
That's hard for Mom to do.
Yeah,
Diane, much props to you. That's hard.
She's released Easter.
My mother would still not do that.
No. My mother, she still likes doing Thanksgiving.
Don't get me wrong, I would still not trust anybody to do it other than that.
So yeah, but that's just food. I mean, there's stories I can tell, and I'll do this one here. This is probably my funniest Easter story. This is from a couple years ago. We were in our old house, but it was my sister and my brother-in-law had come home, and they had brought their friend. He was from Texas, but he wasn't going home, so he didn't have anywhere to go. So he was coming back, and Kathy was making a ham, and her butterbeer injected turkey.
Oh,
which was really, really good.
Wait.
Yeah, butterbeer injected turkey. You want to say that again?
Nope.
Butterbeer.
I'm going to need
injected
a sample of that the
turkey.
next time it's made.
It's at my house right now. She made a turkey this year because we had one.
Christ.
So, but the big one was, so the night before Easter, my mom was going to cook this pork loin.
Right.
And, or no, wait, different holiday. Back it up. Never mind. Pork loin's a different one. Easter is, she made, if you remember, like the ding dongs. Remember ding dongs?
Mm-hmm.
So she made a ding dong cake, like a whole cake. It was like the chocolate with the white in the middle, and then chocolate frosting.
Is it rolled?
No, it was just like a cake. Ding dong.
I know, I've seen the cake.
No, it wasn't rolled. It was just a traditional
roll.
round, like just regular round.
Oh, okay,
cake.
okay.
Yeah, like a layer cake.
Right.
I don't know how it came up. I don't know if it was me or my sister. But at some point when we're talking about this cake, and we were, this was the night before, and we're sitting there talking about it, because we were telling a story about this pork loin, which had happened the previous Christmas. But we're giving my mom a hard time. And then,
Why would you do that to Diane?
Because we can. And she's like, why are you giving
She's
such a hard
such a
time? I said,
sweet
well, look
lady.
what you're doing. You're doing this. Now you're making dong cake. And, like, somebody let that out, and you can't put that back in.
No,
like,
you can't.
It's out. This was like 3-4 years ago.
To
this day, she has not made that cake for us since. She refuses to.
Was
The cake was amazing. But we
so
said...
when she brought it out, as in like, this is what I made, did she call it a ding-dong cake?
A ding-dong cake.
Okay.
She called it a ding-dong cake.
So...
Of course, she tried to be
You
funny,
wait till
looking at us
alcohol
like,
hit. You wait till alcohol hits, and somebody's calling it a dong cake.
I don't know that even that had happened yet.
Somebody's calling it a dong cake. Okay?
You got to remember, have you met me and my sister?
Yes, I have. And this is why I'm saying somebody called that a dong cake.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying you said it. I'm saying somebody did.
I know
So, this is where I'm like this.
I don't
Diane, honey, I feel for you. Make the cake again, sweetheart.
Listen,
Trust me. I'm sure it was delicious.
I could call my mother right now and say, dong cake on the phone.
I'm sure she'd
and
hang
she'd
up.
probably bust up laughing and then hang up.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, of course she's going to laugh. That's a funny thing for her. My mom would laugh if I made fun of something that she did. But she would literally fucking hang up on me.
So I want you to remember that though. Remember dong cake. Because when we get to...
I'm going to remember this the next time I see Diane.
No, I'm talking... As we're talking here, I want you to remember dong cake.
This is going to come up again?
There's a relatable story to this. When we get to Christmas, we're going to come back to dong cake.
You have a relatable story. You bring up penis cake in any way, Peter.
It's going to happen.
We're done.
The cake was really, really good. It was extremely moist.
Sure.
It was a wonderful cake. But it did help.
It does not surprise me one bit that you like dong anything.
Wow, you're hilarious.
So, whether you have dong cake, I like it. Okay, all right, let's move along.
Easter.
I think we've covered Easter.
I think we got Easter covered.
Literally, all I was going to bring up was
Let's go to church.
We had Easter egg hunts, and that's what I still like to do with my kids. I've never had nobody bring up dong cake or whatever else.
We never talked about Easter on the WPS podcast until tonight, son.
I don't think we've ever talked about Easter between the two of us. We're going to leave that in that Jacques Cousteau box that you bury in the ocean.
No, you got to put it in your pocket.
Diane, I got you in that box, honey. Don't worry about you.
Okay, so Easter, Memorial Day. We never, as a family, never did a big thing. I do my big Memorial Day cookout every year now, but that's it.
See, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, depending on what I'm working.
Somebody
will. Somebody, like my brother will have it, or my dad will have it, or somebody will have it.
We've done one at our house for...
As a kid.
Nothing. We were off.
So you're getting into the summer holidays, which is more I spent pretty much every one of my summer holidays, growing up at my mother's house, my grandmother's house. My grandma and grandpa Scheller, they lived with an 8-foot in-ground pool, had the slide, had the diving board, the 3-foot to 5-foot to 8-foot in-ground pool. So every 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, this is where we spent. Now, I have, me and my sister and my brother, my 2 cousins, and whatever friends we all bring down or whatever, all this family down there, picnic table, 8-foot in-ground pool, my grandfather yelling at us because he actually had a penalty bench, which was like literally a bleacher that you pull from Clinton High.
Okay.
15, 20-foot long metal bleacher that sat there. If you screwed up, 10 minutes on the penalty bench.
And this was by the pool.
Yeah. Sat right there. We put it in. We had to pick it up, put it in the garage every year when the year was over.
So it came out in the spring and then went back in the fall.
And he had a big box that had all your inner tubes and goggles and whatnot in it. But the penalty bench was the biggest thing that I remember. I remember she had a cellar that led down to the bar. She had a bar in her basement. Okay. She had the picnic table up there, which is where we all sat there and ate with cheese whiz and crackers, sausage. This is where you had birthday parties in the summer. This is where you had basically every summer holiday you could have. This is where, between the ages of 12 and 15, 14, 16, maybe, I spent most of my summer, because I could actually ride my bike down there, open up a pool by myself and get in there, and she was like, as long as you clean up after yourself, you go ahead. And I brought friends down there and whatnot, but my grandfather, you go in there, you had the pump, you had the air compressor to blow up the inner tubes and the air mattresses, you had the little mini fridge, which I'm about to go pick up one of my own tomorrow for my garage. Orange
Hit the one with the freezer on top.
Shasta Pop, Grape Pop. I mean,
Did you have the strawberry?
yes,
Were they
strawberry
Were
pop.
they in the glass bottles?
No, these were all cans.
Oh.
Wouldn't allow us to have that.
So they had the glass with like the blue one, the green one.
I mean, we had. I mean, just all. That's all. I mean, you wanted a pop, you go in there. You wanted food, you went in there. I mean, everything was. That's where you spent every holiday.
So we did.
Literally the best holidays ever spent at that pool.
So your summer holidays were essentially all kind of.
Oh, they were all.
See, we were
and taken.
See, we were different. So I mean, as kids, like Memorial Day wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, we had family over, we had a little cookout, whatever. As an adult, Memorial Day is a much bigger deal because we started back in my old apartment. A couple of buddies of mine. I mean, I lived in this upstairs apartment, had a crappy parking lot in the back. Said, "Hey, let's do a Memorial Day cookout." And for shins and grins, it was, oh, it's the first annual Holmes Memorial Day cookout. And my one buddy's like, well, it's not annual if it's the first one. And I said, well, it's gonna be, so it's okay. We've been doing it for 12 years. We didn't do it this year just because everything going on. And then the only other year we haven't done it was the year we got married. But we got married the weekend after Memorial Day, so we're like, well, we're just gonna do it the next weekend and invite you to a bigger party. So instead of like 15, 20 people, we had like 200 people. So that's Memorial Day for us now. Like 4th of July was always, and what's really cool is it was always Grand Mountain for fireworks. Always. And now, as an adult, because Kathy's from Grand Mountain, we continue to go to Grand Mountain. Because they have the house just like, I mean, it's 2 blocks up from the dang
It
park.
wasn't until and I'm pretty sure we watched later on we watched the fireworks down at Riverboat.
We had Riverboat Days, yeah.
Of course, my grandfather, like I said, lived across from the courthouse, so we were always down there during Riverboat Days. But I remember the one year at my grandmother's house. She lived on 5th Avenue South, the 500 block of 6th Avenue South. She had a double car garage, the alleyway. Cops got called. I remember we were all sitting on the deck. My grandfather's lighting fireworks, hides a bunch of them when the cops show up because you're not supposed to light fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
He just took the big giant plywood, stuck them underneath his workbench, shut the garage door, gave the cops a few bits, and as soon as they left, 5 minutes later,
Pull it back out.
put it back out, started lighting them again. I mean, my grandfather was a badass anyway. So
Yeah. I think my, and on that one, I think, similar story, we were in my folks' yard one 4th of July, and where they live around the corner, and my dad's like, hey, let's light these bottle rockets. And it was kind of an off year. We hadn't really gone anywhere for fireworks. He's like, I got these bottle rockets from last year. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. Old fireworks, cool. Let's do that.
let's light them. Let's hold them.
And that was back. He stuck the pipe in the ground and he lit it, and the thing went up about 3 feet, made a sharp left turn, and went right for the neighbor. His name was Fred. His house. Now Fred was like the mayor of our neighborhood, and the thing blew up right in front of his house. So that's my fondest 4th of July.
Well, I mean,
Fondest.
I think the funny part about where they lived, like on 5th Avenue South, because you were close to the river, so I mean, you could kind of see the fireworks from when they were doing Riverboat Days. But she had the greatest place in the world for, as you would recall, remember, the old Homecoming Day Parade route.
Oh, yes.
From the van route. Like, we literally walked out our house.
Which was also, that's when they had the 4th of July parade.
Right, we walked down it was literally like down a block.
Yeah.
Either it wasn't, you walked out.
They still to this
you
day
walked
don't
out
do
the
that.
alleyway and went over the other way toward 5th Avenue
Yes.
South. 5th Avenue
Yes.
South is where it led down. She lived on 6th Avenue South. And it was we all just sat down there, waited for the parade to come, and we walked down there and watched the parade. That was such a beautiful house. I love that place. Had 2 apartments above it. Crappy neighborhood.
Well,
And it's not, I mean, just
it was probably better back then than it is now.
I believe it was.
How about Labor Day? Same thing?
I was spending in the pool.
So the pool stuff. We never really did Labor Day.
If it was if it was nice stuff, I would assume maybe the end of August, beginning of September, we were going to be nice enough to still be swimming.
Yeah. I remember, Labor Day weekend, I mean, it was, Hawkeye season, so there was a Hawkeye game. We went out that Saturday. Or now, like later, like now in life, that's like, we tend to go up to the camper and spend that with her dad. And
Right.
that side of the family. We didn't do it this year yet, that's kind of slowly becoming our tradition. Is to go
Apparently, if I'm off on Labor Day weekend, I need to rent a camper and take my butt to Clear Lake so I can drink some of this.
Are you enjoying that?
I am very much enjoying this. This is very tasty.
We're going to sidebar just because we're talking tradition, but Big Tree IPA.
So I could literally, I will say one of my biggest traditions, not that it's a holiday of the summer, was for years, up until a few recent years ago, we would go down and spend a week at the Ozarks. Toward the end of July, beginning of August. This is what reminds me of, like just lake time, spending time sitting by the lake, doing literally nothing but smoking cigars, playing cards, watching the kids play, and swim, and being that lazy.
Oh, yeah. We definitely should do an episode on just vacations. We could probably.
I think we should do an episode from Clear Lake.
Okay.
With cigars and beer.
And I find it appropriate that we're kind of winding down the summer holidays as you're winding down your Sandy Bottom.
It's American. This is I'm a huge fan of this.
So August, of course, August has my favorite holiday of the year. It's not celebrated nearly enough as it should be, but it's my birthday, so wonderful month.
It's celebrated as much as any other goddamn holiday on the planet.
And then you go, so September, of course, we talked Labor Day a little bit. October, you get into, now you're getting the meat and taters of the holiday.
You get into the three major kid holidays, traditional holidays. I know Easter and all of that, and 4th of July. You're talking.
You can't compete.
This is
candy, food, presents. The trifecta.
That sums it up.
The trifecta.
That sums it up beautifully.
Halloween. So let's just rapid fire this.
My son would love that.
So Halloween, all about dressing up, decorating the yard, getting the candy.
No.
Thanksgiving.
Candy. That's it.
It's all about decorating the yard, get the food. Christmas, all about decorating the yard, get the food, and the presents. So a lot of good things.
Depending on what age you are. Yes, you are correct.
Absolutely. So I would say as a child, I've got Halloween memories all the way up, but as a child, where we grew up, it was just very, very fun. I have lots of years of just trick-or-treating in our neighborhood. It's really cool that tradition is carried on because we now do that with our own kids. We take our girls. This was the first year we didn't, just because my folks weren't home.
I got love from both.
But we would take our kids to, we have a special guest. We have a special guest. Who is our special guest? We have Piper. We have Piper, the Australian
Piper was mad
shepherd.
Because,
right? Australian shepherd. And this is Emmett, the black cat. So special shout out to...
Piper was mad because Emmett came up and was like, hey, what's going on?
Emmett Smith.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. We're talking about Halloween, and Emmett Smith, oh boy, Emmett the cat is black. It's a black kitty, so traditional Halloween symbol.
It's his favorite holiday.
Yeah, and he's just hanging out. You can't have my beer though.
Although you're not dressed like a clown.
So that was probably my most
named after.
Like my most ultimate memory of Halloween is trick or treating.
I can't tell. I love Emmett Smith, the actual person.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe he deserves a lot of the accolades that he got, but he's still a
You
Hall
digress.
of Famer. I digress.
So I mean,
he's still a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you remember my folks grew up. So I mean, that was just kind of not closed neighborhood, but it was very. It wasn't a busy neighborhood as far as like just traffic. And
Mine
then
wasn't either.
And then the next neighborhood over was the same. So we had basically back-to-back neighborhoods, side-by-side neighborhoods that you could go and trick or treat, 2 full neighborhoods. So I could spend.
Well, you remember where I used to live.
Yeah.
And then where I used to live growing up, there was a whole subdivision. That's still where I take my kids now.
Yeah.
To go trick or treating, because, we lived on that little off road of the main road between here and there, and then you had the entire subdivision where the kids were, where I had 9 kids growing up that were in my subdivision and whatnot. So, I mean, it was beautiful. That's where I take my kids now. That's where we went growing up, and it was where Like now, I take my kids. Like I walk with you, and I don't see a whole lot of kids walking without their parents.
Yeah.
Which is fine because I would do the same thing. But this is where my parents stayed there and handed out candy because they knew everybody that lived in that subdivision. At one point, my aunt lived 2 blocks from us, 3 blocks from us. So this is growing up. Of course, different era, different age, and I totally get that. But my mother watched us dress up and then sent us out the front door.
And that was a whole thing, though.
And that was like, come back. When you're done, you come back.
Yeah, it was a whole like, okay, we're going to get ready. We're going to take a picture. Okay, go.
Yeah, see ya.
My biggest thing I was looking forward to, and this was this year. I've been waiting for several years now since I was a kid. Like, I want to be the guy handing out candy. I want to be able to sit out in the yard, have a nice fire going.
See, I think I would love that too.
And I want to have the fire going. I want to have the cooler with some beverages in it for the dads or the moms, and I want to have the candy for the kids.
And I
and
get
of course,
that.
this was the first year I got to do that, and no one's coming out. So yeah.
And I get that. And I love the fact that now, at this point in age, like I don't have to carry my kids from door to door. If they get too tired, you're like, oh my God, shut up and walk.
Yeah, we're
done.
We're good there.
But I love the fact that they can do the whole trick or treating for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I could sit there.
Yep. See,
With that fire, with that beer, and let everybody do with everything, and have the candy for everybody else. But I love visiting with the other parents as I see them coming and going.
I think just next year you need to
pass
come to
by.
our house and we'll pass out candy and.
No, I love to walk with them. I love to walk with them.
Well, I mean,
I love to have that backpack on because they look, hey, what are you? I'm like this. I'm Zach Morris from Bayside High, and I got a backpack on, and it's got beer in it.
well,
So I'm going to keep walking.
You just
trick or
come up
treat.
with it.
As long as the kids are happy, I'm like, did you get candy? Did you say please? Did you say thank you? Did you say trick or treat? And they're like, yep. I'm like, move on to the next house. Say the same
Absolutely.
stuff. And it's fun.
For sure. So, with that being said, we've had some good stories. There are 2 holidays left. However,
Are we running out of time?
we're gonna hold them. We're gonna hold the next 2 because I think, and also I think the next 2 are big. Obviously, we just had Thanksgiving.
Biggest
and,
2 holidays of the
Christmas
year.
coming up. So I don't want to shorten because I think we've got a lot of traditions to talk about. So I don't want to shorten people on 2 of the good ones.
Okay.
Because we could tell some stories.
I got you. We could do it. Yeah, we could literally do a whole episode on Thanksgiving and Christmas
Yes.
traditions.
So yeah, I
From
think
back when I was a kid, you were a
well,
kid.
we were just talking about that earlier. So there's a great opportunity for us to do some extra stuff like that. So
Yes.
So guys,
If you have any traditions that you had, let us know.
Guys.
Talk about them. What did you have? What did you have when you were growing up? What could be different than it is now? Because I know everything is different than it is now. Not for some different reasons, but not only because you were older. Things go
like
different ways.
age related, not
Right.
2020.
I'm not talking about that,
we
but
can-
I
we
think
can do
I don't want to go
2020.
into a whole lot of differences. But I think you get the point. There's a whole lot different than what
It
it was
is.
when we were kids.
Yeah,
So
and that's just society and just the way
Right.
things go. So, guys, here's where we're at. So this, when you hear this, of course, we release episodes every Friday at 10 a.m. On YouTube, we release it on Spotify, we release it on Buzzsprout, we release it on iTunes, and of course, there's links on our Facebook page. So the big thing, guys, is kind of where we're at is we're having an absolute blast doing this. I'm gonna get you. Don't worry. I'm not to that moment.
well, you mentioned everything else.
I did,
Right
but
after that, should mention.
Maddie gets
what
so
we have
excited
to
about
do.
this part. I'm like pausing it, but guys, we're at that point where we've had tremendous support on Facebook, and we.
I still have to rate this.
I know. Every time you interrupt me, I gotta start over. But we would love to start getting your feedback, guys. As we're moving forward, we would love to see you guys commenting on our whether it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, or any other mediums we do. Please, guys, feel free to comment and let us know what you want us to talk about. Me and Maddie have known each other a long time, and we have a lot of stories we can tell. We have a lot of fun telling those stories. Probably the best part with this podcast and telling those stories has got to be that when we really get into them stories and we're making Maggie laugh, that's the best part of this podcast.
Yeah,
So-
I know when she looks at me like, oh, Like,
Yeah. It's the
got
best.
her. She's
The
like
best.
this. Oh, okay.
So, guys.
You guys are older than I think.
Yeah.
And
we're old.
This shit is funny.
Yeah. So, guys, make sure, please let us know what you want to hear about. And then, of course, when you go to, especially YouTube or any of these mediums, you want to make sure to, Matty.
Oh, now I get to go?
Now you get to go.
Now you get to hit that like button and that subscribe button, that notification bell that allows you to get notifications when we drop new episodes. But that like button and that subscribe button, huge. The comment button, I think, would be bigger than all of them because we want to hear what you guys think of what we're doing, and
yeah,
we want to hear what you guys want to talk about. We want to hear what you think of what we're talking about and what you have different, all your ideas. Because literally, Petey and I can talk about anything and everything. We can go.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I think on that
we have a
note,
lot of stories, but
I think on that note, great episode. But we can't finish without the official Matty Bath scale
do I get
0
to
5 rating system.
I get to do a 0-5.
Well, you're 0 to 5. That was yours. 0 to 5. Do we need to expand you to 10?
I think we'll expand it after this because you're going to have to.
Okay, because currently
Because you have 0 to 5, and
you've rated like 2 at 4.5. You've rated 3 at 5, and then
no, I've never rated 1 at 5.
And then at Coors, I think last week you did.
No.
And then Coors
Did
Light, yeah. Coors Light was a 45.
Okay.
So I think after this week we're gonna have to expand to a 10. So last episode of Matty going 0 to 5, with Coors Light being 45, and 0 being just.
I'm going to give this an 8.
Oh.
I am a huge fan of this. I think, reminds me of summertime. Reminds me of sitting by the lake, not just because it says Lake Time Brewery, but I mean, the wheat ale, I love it. It's actually, this is one that, most of the ones you give me, it's like, I would drink that if you gave it to me. I would go buy this.
Excellent. So on
I'm
guys,
a huge fan of this.
Thank you so much, as always, for listening in. Clearly, our goal of expanding Matt's palate is working wonderfully. We love all the support. Just thank you. That's all I got. And we're going to end as always. We've got a triple here. It's a triple cheers. So
we appreciate your love. We appreciate your support. Keep listening in. Keep tuning in every Friday at 10 a.m. We love you.
that's
Cheers.
it, guys. We're out. Cheers.
Have a great weekend.